200 years ago, the great power of the blue star awakened, changing the course of history. An explosion of energy shook the world, setting in motion a series of events that soon led to catastrophe. This was followed by a wave of devastating cataclysms, coupled with a brutal race war. Humanity was on the verge of extinction, having lost the ocean and even its moon. Demons broke free, wreaking havoc and destruction across the land. They became a nightmare that people had to face in an unequal struggle. A new attack has erupted in a neighborhood in the metropolis of Jin. An explosion shook the city's streets, marking another wave of destruction. People run in panic to save their lives as the demons destroy everything around them. Screams of terror fill the streets. Demons are attacking. Hurry, run! A huge lava troll appears among the rubble, inspiring terror. The two men recoil, one of them shouting in desperation, "Help!" The city is engulfed in flames. Buildings are collapsing, and clouds of smoke are rising into the sky. Everything around turns into a battlefield between demons and the remnants of human civilization. Military operatives rush to the site, disembarking from armored vehicles. Their commander gives out orders, "Seal off the area, evacuate the people. The demons must be destroyed." One of the soldiers yawns tiredly, but the commander yells harshly at him, "Renji, we're on a mission. Pull yourself together and get to work." Renji smirks, clearly not too concerned about the situation. He replies with a slight sneer, "I know, Uncle Wei." Amidst the blazing ruins, fighters are putting out fires, and one of them mockingly wonders if TA spent the night playing games at an internet cafe. G snaps irritably, telling his interlocutor to shut up. His partner reminds him that G is the best student at the university, but for some reason, he is always looking for part-time work. He replies that he doesn't do it of his own free will. No one will give him money for nothing. The commander abruptly interrupts the chatter, demanding focus. He announces that successful trainees will get a chance to undergo genetic enhancement. He adds that the success of each mission is recorded in the reports, and the more rescues, the higher the chance of promotion. G calmly replies that he doesn't save people for a career. The commander is surprised by this response, hinting that G seems to want to be a hero. However, the latter reminds him that 200 yuan is paid for each person rescued without limit. The enraged commander hits G with force, warning him not to risk his life for such a sum. He reminds everyone that safety is the most important thing, and fighting demons is a ministry matter. The fighters confirm that they understand. Suddenly, one of the soldiers notices a woman approaching and reports a problem. She panics and screams for help. Running up to the fighter, she begs him to save her child, who is left in the burning building. The boy is only 5 years old. G is annoyed that the ministry can't even handle 3 trolls, despite his salary. The commander explains that the main troops have been sent outside the city, and reinforcements will not arrive immediately. The only defense left is a girl from the Hunter Academy, who is said to be the chosen one of heaven. G suddenly rushes towards the building, shouting that he's going to go save people. A mother screams that her son is on the 10th floor. The commander immediately yells at him, reminding him that their job is to support the perimeter. G ignores the order and runs towards the building. The commander is furious, yelling that it's crazy to go inside before the demon is eliminated, because it's too dangerous in there. G smirkingly reminds him that 200 yuan is at stake, continuing to move forward. The commander is stunned by his words, not believing that he is really that serious. Enraged, he orders the fighters to put out the fire and cover Tse. G, ignoring the flames and falling debris, rushes inside the building. Upon reaching the right place, he kicks the door open with a powerful kick, preparing to be rescued. G makes his way through the smoke and flames, mentally noting that this 200 yuan is not given to him easily. Once inside, he sees the fire raging, leaving no escape route. Suddenly, a powerful blow crashes down from above, a gust of energy whipping the wreckage into the air. G instinctively takes cover, narrowly avoiding the devastating wave. He realizes with surprise that it was a sonic boom. As he looks ahead, he notices a lava troll facing a girl who is clearly no ordinary soldier. The troll uses an unexpected technique, and Sei is stunned to recognize his opponent as the very huntress from the academy. The girl fights on equal terms with the monster, demonstrating the strength of a genetically enhanced soldier. At that moment, a child's cry calling for her mother, interrupted by coughing, is heard from the back of the building. G turns around at the voice and spots a child in the distance, heading towards him without hesitation. The baby continues to cough and call for his mom, and G confidently declares that she will save him. Suddenly, massive debris begins to fall from the ceiling, and Sei warns the boy to be careful. At the last moment, he picks up the child and carries him away as the wall collapses behind them. Holding the baby in his arms, he assures him that everything will be okay. T puts a protective mask on the boy, ensuring he can breathe safely. Then, with a warm smile, asks the child to hold on to it more tightly. Outside, fighters continue to extinguish the flames, clearing a path to the exit. The unit is watching the smoke-filled building, controlling the situation. G emerges from the destroyed building with a baby in her arms, looking tired but unharmed. Colleagues react cheerfully. Someone even remembers that Se once helped him with his homework. Suddenly, a powerful explosion shakes the building, throwing debris and fire in all directions. The shockwave ripples through the neighborhood, causing panic among the fighters. A huge lava monster emerges from the center of the destruction. High in the sky, the hunter from the academy rushes into the battle with lightning speed, shouting out, "Slash!" and tries to attack the monster from above. However, the lava troll reacts quickly, opening its jaws and unleashing a powerful stream of fire directly towards the huntress. She tries to dodge, but the monster's pressure is too strong. The huntress realizes that the situation is getting out of control and thinks anxiously, "This is bad." At that moment, the building, unable to withstand the destruction, begins to collapse. Huge cracks spread along its walls, and powerful explosions knock out the last supports. Giant debris falls down, forcing the fighters to retreat. Pillars of smoke and dust obscure what is happening, and the commander anxiously monitors the situation. The soldiers notice that the building is about to collapse completely. One of them, seeing Tsie, shouts, "G, watch out," warning him of the deadly danger. At that moment, G, holding the baby in his arms, realizes that there is no time. He looks up and realizes that he is about to be under the rubble. "Shit, I'm going to get killed." In a desperate attempt to save the boy, he throws him down and shouts, "Uncle Wei, catch!" The commander and fighters reacted instantly, trying to catch the child. A bald man with wide-eyed eyes and obvious anxiety on his face shouts out loudly, "Renji!" At that moment, a massive explosion occurs from behind, raising puffs of smoke and debris, causing people to scatter. As the dust settles, a group of people below look anxiously at the pile of collapsed rocks. They shout, "Renji! Bro!" One of the men shouts out in panic, "G!" clearly worried about the fate of the protagonist. From under the rubble, surrounded by smoke and dust, a cough is heard, and a wounded but alive Renji appears. He weakly clutches the fragment in his hand and thinks to himself, "This is the end. 200 yuan. It's so hard to get it, and I can't even spend it." He sighs bitterly, mentally saying goodbye. "I'm sorry to die like this." At that moment, a mysterious girl with long dark hair and a pair of swords appears in front of him through the shroud of dust. His gaze is a little unfocused, but he still recognizes her figure and thinks in surprise, "Is that an angel there?" A girl named Jiang Deyuli asks him to apologize for what happened. At this moment, Renji looks down and notices the funny pink panties with a pig. He wonders why someone would wear such a thing under such a short skirt. He says the pink piggy on her panties is really cute, but it only makes the girl angry. The girl closes her eyes while clutching her sword and utters, "Scoundrel!" Realizing that the man understands, the girl gets nervous. She touches his face and tries to wake him up. "Hey, wake up! Open your eyes!" The man slumps into the void, realizing he is dying. So this is what it's like to die. Remembering his loved ones, he worries about what will happen to them without him. But what will Auntie Annan do without me? And Tintin, how long will she last with her demonic wound? His mind fills with determination, and he cries out with despair, "I can't die now. I want to go on living." It rushes upward as if bursting from the depths of death. In the operating room, the doctor stated his critical condition, listing his injuries. Amputation of the left arm, the lower part of the spine crumbled into rubble, profuse, bleeding, and ruptured internal organs. Many wounds. One of them concludes, he can no longer be saved. Time recorded, 23 hours and 44 minutes. The patient's heart stopped beating, and brain death was declared. Renji lies on the operating table, a frozen locket on his chest, and the doctor confirms, no signs of life. The bald man says sadly, "Taoren, I'm sorry. I couldn't take care of Renji." And beside him, another man covers his face with his hand with grief. One of the men in the room orders, "Cremate him." But Renji himself, being unmoved, thinks, "Hey, I think I can still be saved." The stone on his chest begins to glow faintly, and he mentally shouts, "Hey!" His body is already being placed in the cremation chamber, and he, realizing what is happening, mentally panics thinking, are they really cremating him? Fire begins to engulf his body, and he realizes in horror, they won't save me. Suddenly, everything around him changes. He finds himself in a strange space surrounded by watery surfaces. He looks around, still in shock. Where am I? Is there really an afterlife after all? In the distance, he notices his pendant and walks determinedly towards it. The shining stone floats in the air and he remembers. That's my pendant. 10 years ago, it was dug up at the demonic disaster site in Zin City. The protagonist picks up the pendant and ponders that it was supposed to be just a reminder of family. But since it ended up here, perhaps it is an artifact. Suddenly, the pendant begins to glow, causing a sharp pain in the hero's hand. He exclaims in surprise. The pendant rips out of his hands and falls into the water, causing a powerful splash. Renji tensely looks down, trying to figure out what's going on. The water explodes, and a huge column of energy rises from it, causing him to shriek. A giant tree with dark, bizarre patterns on its bark grows out from under the water. The main character looks at the huge tree in shock and asks where it came from. He notices that the tree looks strange and warily examines it. Touching the trunk, Renji realizes that there is a demonic tree in front of him. Suddenly, the tree begins to glow, and a powerful stream of energy bursts out from within, threatening to engulf him. The hero panics as he tries to figure out what's going on and yells, "What else?" A fiery essence bursts out of the demonic tree, and a voice announces, "The demonic pact is made." The pact binds the hero to the flaming devil, and its price is the tears of others. The hero's eyes widen with shock, and he exclaims, "A demonic pact? The devil? What the hell is this?" The fire envelops him. The process of flame devil gene injection is completed, and the first stage of the pact begins. In the real world, the commander puts out his cigarette and asks if it's all over, but the doctor that something is wrong. Soon one of the crematorium workers notices that the body is not being burned and exclaims in fear, "Why isn't it being burned?" The workers and the man are stunned. The furnace is blazing, but the body inside does not disappear, but instead something happens. The bald man hears a strange sound and realizes that it sounds like a heartbeat. At that moment, the furnace explodes, throwing out debris, and the terrified man rushes back with a cry of, "Devil, please don't take my life." A man in a white shirt looks around in horror as he watches a man in a medical mask squirming on the floor, begging for help. A voice exudes a strange warmth in the air. "Is there a doctor here?" It sounds with a slight sneer. Renji rises from the fiery ashes with his eyes burning and flames emanating from his body. He smirks. "I think I can still be helped." A burning aura covers his face. He looks forward with a devilish grin and says, "Heh." Time changes to a new scene. A tall modern building shines in the sun, creating a sense of an important place. The young man regains consciousness, his gaze still clouded, but his consciousness gradually returns. In the vision, he sees himself surrounded by spirals of flame and asks in bewilderment, "What's going on? Am I not?" A woman with bright red hair and futuristic glasses works behind a holographic interface, nonchalantly declaring, "We'll be done soon enough, so don't move." He looks around in shock. His gaze collides with her beautiful figure. He is a little shocked. He now lies on the operating table, and his right arm has been replaced by a metal prosthesis pulsing with energy. Around him, mechanical manipulators continue their work. The red-haired woman says with a smile that she's just pulling him out of the other side of the world. Renji asks in shock who she is and where he is. She explains that he's now in Hwayan's biolab, and her name is Noyan, and she's in charge here. She also mentions that he was brought here by someone named Julie. Now the operation is complete, and Noyan suggests he try to move. The man raises his hand and is surprised to realize that it is now mechanical. Noyan explains that this is their newest robotic arm. Its previous owner participated in an experiment with 5 kilograms of explosives, and, of course, exploded, but the arm remained intact. Renji appraises his hand and asks who Julie is. Noyan replies with surprise that it's Miss Jiang Julie from Hwayan's 3rd squad. Renji remembers that she is the same genetic soldier, and his thoughts sink into reflection. Noyan says he was damn lucky. Not only did he survive, but he managed to open his genetic lock, gaining the power of wielding fire. Renji has doubts because his gene awakening age has long passed. However, Noyan explains that even so, his awakening stage has begun, but in order to use his strength, he must first learn the basics of genetic martial arts. The young man repeats aloud in confusion, "Genetic martial arts?" trying to realize what it all means. Noyan explains that 200 years ago, the power of the blue star awakened on Earth, causing 12 spiritual sources to emerge. However, by absorbing this energy, animals and plants began to mutate, turning into demons, after which they began to threaten humanity. To counter the threat, scientists have found a way to unlock the genetic lock and created a vaccine that allows ordinary people to awaken their genes. This vaccine gave humans the ability to not only awaken powers, but also absorb spiritual energy, allowing them to fight demons as equal. No one clarifies that there is a price to pay for the awakening of power. The hero is puzzled and asks what the price is. It turns out that the price of awakening is a demonic wound. The hero is alarmed to realize that he has already heard about this phenomenon. He recalls the Tintin disease that is associated with this wound. If one is unable to bear the cost of awakening, demonic wounds appear on one's body, causing unbearable pain as if skin and bones were being ripped off. The hero is shocked to realize that Tintin's illness may be connected to the demonic pact. When he asks him about a cure, no one replies that there is no cure because medicine has not yet reached the right level. However, if there is a cure, it will have to be found in the demon realm. Renji thinks that if what he said is true, there is still hope for Tintin. No one advises the guy to get used to his new arm and go home, but if anything happens, he should come back immediately. He agrees and says he won't bother her anymore. The streets of the city are full of people, and cars drive by, creating the usual city bustle. The hero walks down the street looking at his new hand. He marvels at how realistic it is, and notes that if you don't look closely, it's indistinguishable from the real thing. He remembers that he's been gone for a few days, and assumes that his aunt and Tintin are probably worried, so he needs to get home as soon as possible. The pain from the surgery is still there, even though the painkillers have worn off. He crosses the street among many passers-by. He notices that a crowd of people have gathered ahead and are talking among themselves. This makes him curious. Someone in the crowd is outraged, demanding an explanation as to why he was denied service. A fat man offers 300 yuan to wash his laundry, wondering why he is being refused. The woman replies with a determined look on her face that they will not serve him, rejecting his offer. The huge man laughs loudly, scoffing at the rejection. He says that with that kind of attitude towards customers, it's no wonder they can't even pay the rent. The guy with blonde hair adds that Brother Wang wants to take over the place, so they better get out soon. The girl can't stand it and swings the mop with a shout. She demands that they get out of here immediately. The huge man easily stops the blow. He laughs, noting that she has quite a bit of strength, but then why would she be waving such a thin wand? The girl gets angry and tries to break free. The man grabs her around the waist, smirking cheekily. He suggests that she touch something bigger. The girl is furious and calls him insolent and demands that he let her go. The other bandit gets a crushing blow to the face. He has no time to finish his sentence before someone sends him flying. The same guy is already flying through the air, falling to the ground. Blood splatters from the impact, and his comrades are shocked. The two bandits stare dumbfounded at their fallen comrade. They clearly did not expect such a development. Renzi appears, exuding an aura of power. His hand is blazing, and his eyes are blazing. He threateningly demands that the bandits get away. One of the thugs comes to his senses and rushes in screaming. He threatens Renji, saying that he wants to die. The hero responds with a lightning-fast strike. The enemy has no time to do anything. He is thrown back, leaving a bloody trail. Fatty didn't understand. Was it that girl's boyfriend had come? But Renji didn't listen. He walked forward. He claimed to have heard every word of that scumbag. The fat man ordered him not to approach, for whoever he was would cut him down if he came near. But at the same second, the fat man was hit in the chin, and then Renzi grabbed the one by the neck, squeezing his throat while holding the girl by the waist. The fatty gasped, for Renji's grip was devilish. Sister Renji called out to her brother, for he would continue, then the fatty would die. Renzi himself also noticed this, but his rage did not subside. Thankfully, Renzi stopped in time, and the fatty collapsed to the ground. Renzi said that if they came here again, they wouldn't leave alive. He told them to get out of here. The blonde man asked the fatty to run away, because it looks like Renji isn't kidding. While the fatty was running away, he was yelling about Renji paying the price. Renji looked at his hand and thought about what was possibly a white mist. Could it really be the power of emotions? At this moment, the sister was glad that Renji had returned. She inquired about her brother's well-being. The woman didn't understand what was wrong with the guy's arm. Renzi told Aunt Annan and Sister Tintin that from now on, no one would dare threaten them anymore. Renji was very hungry, by the way, and in that case, Auntie Annan decided to cook something. Night came, and Renji thought about what had happened in the past few days. In addition, his body had changed quite a bit. Suddenly, Renzi felt a sharp pain. His chest ached with hellish flames, and his heart was beating like crazy. Suddenly, he found himself in a strange red space, not realizing what was happening. Renji began to move, and suddenly found himself in the middle of a huge demonic tree. It seemed that the demonic tree was watching Renji intently. The guy couldn't move. It looked like something was being sucked out of him. He felt the hellish pain again, causing him to scream loudly. Red lines were being instilled out of his body or into his body, signifying that major changes were about to take place. Soon, Renji realized that since the demon realm had defiled the 5 spiritual springs, demonic energy could only be found there. If those who have made a demonic pact want to become stronger and advance to the next level, they must be able to utilize demonic energy. In that case, Renji realized that in this spiritual world, demons were also capable of distorting energy, turning it into demonic energy. Looking at the tree, Renji realized that this required a huge amount of emotional power. He remembered that Noyan had told him that the negative emotions of humans were called demonic sins, from which the power of emotion was already derived. Grasping his heart, Renji realized that to gain emotional strength, one must pay the price for his pact on time. Otherwise, the demon sitting inside the one who made the pact will absorb the will of the host. In this way, Renji would become a true devil. The next day, Renji was in the city. Holding a bag of groceries, he was also texting someone. He wondered what usually happened when a demon demanded payment from a human who had made a pact with a human. Noyan explained that it depends on the person. For example, a demon can make a person watch adult movies. They may ask for something strange, like pulling out their fingernails. However, it all depends on the character of the person. Renji was worried that the demon had absorbed all of his accumulated emotional power. Now he would have to get more emotions to feed the demon. But here's the problem. Renji doesn't want to do anything weird. While the guy was in contemplation, he accidentally hit a passerby. The girl immediately fell to the ground, and Renji dropped the grocery bag. The girl seemed to be bruised, but Renji didn't care about that. He noticed that the girl was wearing a short skirt, which he was eager to take off and then sniff her panties. Suddenly, Renji stood in a stupor. What was he just thinking about? Meanwhile, the girl apologized to Renji, saying that she was in a hurry and didn't notice him. But what is it? It only seemed to make Renji angry. He started yelling at the girl, stating that if apologizing worked, they wouldn't need the police. He ordered the girl to say what color her panties were and then to take them off and show him. The girl didn't understand this guy and his questions. Such questions could cost her her life. Anyway, the girl stood up and said that it was crowded. That's why she suggested to find a quiet place where there was no one, and then she would show him whatever Renji wanted. Renji didn't understand where such a rush of emotion came from and what kind of profanity was going through his head. Is that really the price the devil wants to charge him? Renji didn't know what to do, and therefore fled from this place out of harm's way. The girl didn't understand the guy's position. After all, she should be the one running away from a jerk like him. On the connection with that girl named Cheng Yu, someone got on the line, wondering how everything went. From the smell of that guy, it was clear that he was the one who had recently awakened as a demon. Cheng Yu confirmed that this is the guy who has awakened, the one the tarot cards are looking for. The man on the phone ordered the girl to check the guy's abilities, but he can't be allowed to run away or they won't get any results. Evening came, and Renji was dissatisfied that he could only earn a couple hundred yuan, all because of those damn emotions. At that moment, a white-haired girl crashed into him. Renji asked the girl to watch where she was going, not understanding why she crashed into him. The girl meanwhile didn't understand why her cab was so late, but Renji took the girl aback, saying that he was not a cab driver. The girl insisted, saying she would pay for the trip in advance, so she asked me to get in the car faster. Unable to resist in front of such a sum of money, Renji decided that he could even be a cab driver today. Without thinking long, Renji immediately changed into a cab driver, opening the girl's door. The car was traveling down the road, and the guy noticed that the girl lived pretty far away. At this moment, the girl felt hot, and so she asked Renji what was the most interesting thing they could do. Renji guy is a bit of a dumbass, and instead of his love and his possibly big worm, offered the girl a seatbelt. But the girl herself took the initiative and touched the guy's leg. She said she wanted him directly, but Renji didn't seem to understand hints very well. Renji was very embarrassed, by the way. Renji was only worried about one thing, where her house was, because judging from the address, no one lived here. At this moment, the girl asked the guy to stop here. After stopping the car, the guy looked at the girl who was looking down at him with her hungry eyes of love. She wondered what Renji was waiting for. The guy of course said that he was a professional and could not behave like that, but it was clear from his face that he wanted more. At this moment, the girl grabbed Renji's cheeks and said that the more he talked, the more she wanted to eat him. The guy didn't know what to say. But suddenly, Renji pushed the girl away, saying that he's not as lecherous as she thinks. Plus, she wants to steal his first kiss. Renji won't let that happen. At this moment, a white aura emerged from his hands. Renji apologized, but suddenly he saw something. In front of his eyes, he saw a girl who looked like the monster from the television show Very Strange Things. The girl, meanwhile, said she just wanted to swallow him in one bite. She started to approach the guy, but Renji was only disgusted by it, as a waterfall of drool flowed from her mouth. While lovemaking was going on in the car, someone was standing on top watching. It was a girl named Yue, who had been waiting for this moment. The second she did, she tore down to the car. As she landed on the car, she pierced through both the car and the girl who wanted to devour Renji, who was in shock. He didn't understand what was going on here, stating that he should have gone to bed. Suddenly, the car was cut in half, and Renji quickly stepped out of it. Next to Renji, in addition to Yeu, another group of people dressed in white appeared beside Renji. The girl monster was not happy, for the Department of Defense was once again sticking its nose in the wrong business. Yue threatened Chenyu that she wouldn't run away today, but the girl wasn't going to run away. Renji was shocked at what was happening. After all, he just wanted to make some money. Yeu ordered Renji not to yell and better find a place to hide. Her comrade offered to defeat the monster together and return to headquarters with the guy, but it seems the girl is up to something, and at the same second, a new attack appears. A group of people jumped up and were surprised. Renji didn't realize what was going on until he noticed a man behind him who announced that he had eaten their squad alive. The man was holding a gun of some sort, as if he was from the game Prototype. The man's name was Li Zhang. Li Zhang stated that they could all just leave. After all, they only came here because of this guy. Yeu couldn't believe that they had really come for him. At this moment, Li Zhang extended his hand to the guy, telling Renji to join his Devil's Claw organization. They would give him anything he wanted. Yue shouted for Renji not to believe him, because if he got into the Devil's Claw, there would be no turning back. In any case, the guy decided to ask a few questions to this man. Li Zhang praised Renji for making the right choice, because in this world, only the Devil's Claw welcomed those who made a demonic pact, because the Ministry of Defense would persecute people like him for the rest of his life. Yeu rejected Li Zhang's words because there are many prejudices. She said that the ministry would never take any action against them if they knew how to use their power properly. Li Zhang asked Captain Yue to shut up. She can paint him a perfect picture all she wants, but it won't really change. In any case, Renji was only interested in one thing, whether this organization paid enough, which only confused Li Zhang. He wasn't the only one, though, which confused everyone else. Chenyi was also shocked. Did Renji really think that they were some kind of official organization? Well, in that case, the guy decided if they wouldn't pay him, he wouldn't go to them. This, of course, pissed the girl off, but Li Zhang sprang into action anyway. He would finish off a couple of bastards first, and then take this guy. At the same second, he tore towards Yue. At the moment of the attack, Yue ordered the others to take care of Chenyu while she dealt with Zhang. The men in white attacked the girl, thinking that she had no chance, as there were 3 of them, and she was alone. But at this moment, Chenyu decided that this wouldn't do, which was why she took out something like eggs. Throwing them on the ground, something suddenly began to hatch from them. It was like some kind of symbiote from the movie Venom, or something like that. Chenyu ordered her minions to skin those guys, so she could make herself a new pelt. Li Zhang and Yeu continued to fight, using their strength. Li Zhang was crushing the girl with his strength. He was even kind of pitiful, because he was not satisfied with the captain's strength. But the girl thought that Li Zhang was too excited. The blood began to transform in her hand, and then released it into Li Zhang. The man was thrown aside, but he still didn't think it was enough. At the same time, Renji didn't understand what was going on. If he had known that this would happen, he would not have taken this case for any money. He decided that he had to leave, because Aunt Annan and Tintin were waiting for him. But in front of his gaze was Chenyu, who didn't understand where this guy wanted to go. She immediately attacked the guy, saying she wanted to taste him. Renji tries to dodge the monster's massive claws, saying his little sister is not his type. But Chenyu can't wait any longer. She wants him. Yue yells at Li Yehui to help Renji, but the latter replies in shock that they can't do that. With no choice, Yeu gives up fighting Li Zhang and flies to help Renji. She vehemently declares that their enemies will not get away with this. She rushes to attack with vigor, and at the same time, the monster's claws clutch Renji, leaving him with almost no chance of getting out. Renji's face and his eyes flash with fiery energy. His pupils change, and flame patterns appear on his skin. His power awakens at a critical moment. Yahello doesn't have time to get to the guy, as there is a huge explosion. After the explosion, she lands and sees that the place where the enemy was is littered with debris. Magical flames are raging everywhere. Yahello looks at it in surprise, not believing her eyes. Meanwhile, Changyu, who is in the epicenter of the flames, is engulfed in flames. She screams in rage, holding her face, which appears to be seriously injured. Yahello can't believe what's happening. She knows that only Heaven's Chosen are capable of damaging demons, but Renji, who is enveloped in flames, has clearly harmed Chenyu. Confused, she wonders, why did he? Chenyu screams in rage that her face has been disfigured, and she wants to skin Renji. Li Zhang is displeased with her complaints and orders her to stop loitering and capture him. The enemy does not hesitate to attack, threatening to kill Renji for daring to resist him. He decides to deal with Yahello first and then everyone else. Yahello activates his technique, summoning the Blood Moon. She announces that she is using her divine technique and that it is time for the enemy to pay the bill. A bloody spear appears in her hands, pulsing with murderous energy. Yahello strikes without delay, stabbing the enemy straight into his stomach. His body shuddered from the impact, and blood spurted out to the sides. Yahello shouts, "Die!" with fury, putting all his strength into the attack. But the enemy only laughs evilly, saying that such a powerful attack was expected from the Heaven's Chosen One. The wounded opponent is not going to give up. His body begins to change, and he confidently declares that he too can become stronger. Yahello entrusts the protection of Renji to an ally named Ehwai, while she plans to fight Li Zhang herself. Ehwai agrees, realizing the gravity of the situation. Li Zhang, having activated his demonic power, rushes forward to attack with a cry of, "Meet death!" Dark energy rages around him. At the last second, Yahello tries to defend herself, but a huge demonic hand rushes straight at her, threatening to crush her. Li Zhang taunts Yahello, lamenting that such a talented chosen one will die. However, Yahello urges everyone to hold on, as reinforcements will be arriving soon. Hearing this, Li Zhang only smiles viciously and pierces Yahello with his claw, leaving her no time to defend herself. He declares that no reinforcements will help anymore. They won't have time to see him arrive. Yahello can barely react to this blow. Her body falls lifelessly to the ground, and Li Zhang stands over her, displaying his strength. The allies are shocked to realize that her heavenly form dissipated after just one strike. One of them shouts out, asking if Yahello is okay. Confusion grows. No one knows what to do, as reinforcements have not arrived. One of the fighters suggests retreating, but Renji catches their attention. One of the allies is doubtful, looking at him. After all, Yahello had entrusted Renji to protect him, but now he looks strange. They begin to suspect that he has made a deal with a demon. An unknown force raged inside Renji, and the voice tried to force him to obey, enveloping his body with dark energy. Despite this, he resists, but realizes that he cannot fully control himself. His sword bursts into bright flames, heralding a powerful attack. Meanwhile, Li Zhang looks scornfully at Yahello's allies, calling them a bunch of underachievers who overestimated their strength, and deals them a crushing blow. Li Zhang stands amidst the destruction, a dark aura surrounding him. Yahello watches anxiously as their allies are thrown to the ground by his power. Chenyu says that if they can't take Renji alive, they can take him dead too. Li Zhang doubts whether Renji is really the one they're looking for, since it was too easy to kill him. Li Zhang grabs Renji by the neck and mockingly asks if he has made a deal with the devil, demanding to show his strength. Suddenly, a powerful explosion shakes the ground. Li Zhang is shocked by the impact. He was thrown back. Yahello doesn't understand what's going on, seeing Li Zhang and Chenyu being forced to retreat under the onslaught of an unknown force. Li Zhang asks in exasperation how this is even possible, his face contorted with fear. A shadow appears out of the thick smoke, surrounded by raging fire. Renji appears in a new form. His body is shrouded in flames and his eyes glow with fiery energy. This is the initial stage of the envisioned demonic transformation. He swings his sword, creating a vortex of fire around him, his power growing with every second. Renji delivers a crushing blow, a giant wave of flames rushing forward, forcing Li Zhang to panic to defend himself. Renji's blade cut through the air with a roar, releasing a stream of flaming energy that rushed straight at Li Zhang, destroying everything in its path. Renji, in his demonic form, looks down on his enemies and calls them bugs with disdain. He coldly asks if they think they can defeat him, his body blazing with fire and a black aura thickening around him. Li Zhang is horrified to realize that there is an incredibly powerful demonic energy in front of him. He cannot believe what is happening. Ye Yue and her allies are shocked. Renji's attack was so powerful that even Li Zhang was on the ground. Renji extends his arm, his fingers engulfed in fire, ready to strike next. Streams of flames rush towards Li Zhang and Chen Yu, forcing them to rush to the side in an attempt to dodge. Li Zhang is horrified to realize that this power is like that of the devil himself, and Chen Yu realizes that Renji is exactly who the tarot cards are looking for. Ye Yue is shocked by what she's heard. She can't believe that it's Renji who's looking for tarot. Renji looks irritated at his enemies and declares that they are tiring him out, raising his arm, preparing to blow them apart with the final blow. Renzi raises his hand engulfed in flames and coldly declares that his enemies must die. His attack pierces through Li Zhang, the flaming magma blade piercing his chest. Li Zhang and Chen Yu soared into the air in agony, their bodies pierced by fiery spikes. Li Zhang declares with the last of his strength that their mission is accomplished. They found the one they were looking for. Chen Yu screams that he doesn't want to die. In the last moment before his death, Li Zhang is horrified to realize that he fears this power the most. A flash of fire consumes them, leaving behind only a flaming remnant. Ye Yue and her allies watch in awe. Renzi disdainfully declares that they are all just insects that have become a gift to the demonic tree. Waves of flames spread across the battlefield, raining down on the ruins, forcing Ye Yue and the others to defend themselves. Ye Yue, seeing all this, still can't believe what's happening. Her allies notice that Renji's demonic form has dissipated. They run to him to see what happened to him. Renji lies unconscious, surrounded by Ye Yue and her allies who are watching him worriedly. One of the fighters has doubts about what to do because Renji is too dangerous. Ye Yu decides that he should be taken to the ministry because tarot cards are involved. The fighter offers to carry it himself, but Ye Yue rejects his offer as everyone was badly injured. She instructs Ye Huai to take care of Yun Shao, while another fighter contacts the ministry to find out why reinforcements always come after the battle. Ye Yue suddenly blushes when Renji unknowingly touches her in an unfortunate place, letting out a surprised shriek. Enraged, she kicks him, sending him flying, loudly calling him a sassy man. Renji falls down, and Ye Yu, shrouded in an intimidating flame, stares menacingly at him. He pleads with her in fear to stop. Renji desperately excuses himself, assuring that he meant no harm in trying to avoid the consequences. Ye Yue, blushing angrily, resents that he recovered from the demonic transformation so quickly, suspecting that his connection to the demon is much deeper. Meanwhile, Renji easily gets up and, trying to avoid the proceedings, says that he just wants to go home because he has a cooling dinner waiting for him. Ye Yue immediately calls out to him, preventing him from leaving. Ye Yue explains that for Renji's safety, it's better to go with them to the Ministry of Demonic Defense. Renji isn't particularly interested in this, stating that he hasn't joined any Devil's Claws and doesn't want to cooperate with them. However, he notices that the situation is not in his favor, and he is surrounded by ministry fighters. Ye Yue snatches him up in a rage, calling him an impertinent person, and states that it wasn't a suggestion but an order. Later, in the car, Renji irritably yells that he will file a complaint against them. He sighs heavily as he sits surrounded by his fighters and humbly asks why they are doing this, because he just wants to go home. Renji finds himself in front of a giant demonic tree, amazed by its sinister appearance. He looks around bewildered, trying to figure out what this place is. Suddenly, he notices that the souls of the defeated demons seem to be woven into the branches of the tree. But how did they end up here? He realizes that he shouldn't have become their breadwinner, as he has enough to worry about with his own power. Suddenly, his body begins to burn with magical energy, causing painful sensations. Meanwhile, a horrible stench spreads in the car, and one of the fighters suggests in shock that it's the work of Renji. Renzi, with an extremely satisfied face, shouts that he urgently needs to go to the restroom as he can't take it anymore. The car stops outside a building with restrooms, and the fighters with disgruntled faces stand outside waiting for him. They irritably demand that he hurry out, threatening to break in if he delayed. Suddenly, an elderly man with a cane appears, suddenly attracting attention. One of the fighters irritably demands that Renji leave the restroom, stating that he won't have that much time to sit idle in the ministry. Some more time passes, but Renji still doesn't come out, causing the guarding fighters to worry. Meanwhile, the elderly man they saw earlier quickly slips inside, hiding around the corner. While the fighters shout indignantly, Renji, disguised as an old man, cautiously peeks out from behind the building, wondering how he managed to pull off this stunt so skillfully. Renji, smiling slyly, peeks out from behind cover, stating that he left a parting gift for them in the restroom and says goodbye. One of the fighters threatens to step inside if Renji doesn't get out right away. There is an outcry from the Ministry of Demonic Defense's superiors, who can't believe the fighters missed just one man. In the office, Defense Minister Shen-Chi listens to the report of his subordinates, sighing unhappily. She admits that she didn't even realize that Renji was the one interested in tarot cards. Yahello takes full responsibility for his escape, but the minister states that he must be arrested immediately. Yahello asks to be given 1 day to complete the task and bring back Renji. Yahello persistently asks the minister to trust her, saying she can handle the assignment. The minister agrees, but warns her that she has only 1 day to complete the task. She also orders that all data about Renji be classified immediately. Yahello grudgingly agrees to take care of it. The minister reminds her that she doesn't have much time and advises her to hurry up. Yahello and her team immediately rush out of the office. The team realizes now they only have 1 day to find that stinker. Meanwhile, Renji finally makes it home, enjoying getting out of all the turmoil. He stretches, dreaming of a hot bath after such a tiring day. However, his attention is drawn to the shouting, "Someone is threatening those who dared to insult the Shanghu gang." After realizing who exactly made the commotion, Renji irritatedly realizes that he has run into these people again. Suddenly he rushes out, and 3 men run out of the building, one of them screaming that that girl knocked his teeth out. When Renji looks back, he sees his pursuers being chased away by Tintin, threatening them with a mop. Tintin happily greets Renji, calling him brother. He asks in surprise if she is the one who just chased away the bullies. The girl jokingly remarks that it looks like that white-haired woman is his girlfriend, since she's been waiting for him for so long. Renji is confused, trying to realize what's going on while repeating the words about girl to himself. He tensely turns around and sees Yahello, who greets him with a smile. Renji irritably asks how they found him. Yahello replies that she had been waiting for him here for a long time and had already dealt with the local hooligans. He looks at her incredulously, but decides it's not worth discussing it on the street, and suggests we talk somewhere else. Meanwhile, Tintin, watching them, is surprised that her brother is still so shy to admit their relationship. Well, Aunt Annan couldn't believe that Renji had grown so much. On the roof of the skyscraper, Renji asks him not to drag his family into any more squabbles. If there are any questions, only contact him. Yahello, on the other hand, is quietly enjoying the night view, offering him a glimpse of the beauty of the city, further confusing him. She begins to talk about the past, how humanity was nearly wiped out, but thanks to genetic soldiers was able to survive and build new cities. Yahello asks if Renji doesn't want to do something for his loved ones, suggesting that he join the Ministry of Demonic Defense, where he will have more opportunities. Renji admits he admires what they do to protect people, but says he's not like them. His main goal is to protect and provide for his family. Yahello understands his motives and notes that he works days on end to help his sick younger sister. However, she adds that the ministry has the technology to heal her. Renji was shocked by her words, not believing that someone could actually heal Tintin's demonic wound. If you want part 2, let's get 1,000 likes for the sequel. Also, write a secret word in the comments. Flame. That way I'll know you've seen this video to the end. See you later.